Oh, it's nervous. I'm nervous. Okay, here we go. Primary presentation. We are getting started. Starting soon. All right. So people can hear the music. They can hear us. Make sure to check your Twitch streams.
Live now. Yes, sir.
Live now. New. All right, so people are joining the channel.
Ooh.
I think this worked. I think this is working so far, and I'm pretty pumped because I was nervous I was going to have to let everybody down.
Flamethrower and like towers like.
Okay, so I'm on the War Dragons channel, and I don't see it live.
I see us.
Oh, okay, it's there. All right, cool. Watch now. That made me very
your window probably needs to update a little bit.
There we go. I was a little bit behind. So nobody's here yet. All right.
Right, B.
Maybe I should try to send out a quick mail. This is happening right now. Yeah. Join us.
We are live.
Okay, we're live and in action. People have been waiting all day for this, so hopefully they join us and start to spread the word. There's Emirath. Hey, Everblue. Somebody said morning. I wish. Lafra. Lafra, do you say it with a rolling R, or is it sort of like a French R, like Lafra? All right, I'm going to try to send out in-game mail real quick. Anybody's on and they want to join us, they can. Let's see if I can do one of those quickly as I think I can. I don't know if the answer's yes. Everybody in chat, tell us what dragon you're most excited for, because I think you've all seen the dragons by now.
How did the scavenger hunt is not the correct word, but
the super professional cryptographically based hints and tips thread?
Yeah, that's the one.
Is that exactly what we're for? All right, Eclipse Wave 1 live stream. The Eclipse. I'm doing this with people on stream. Hi, everybody. This is how the sausage is made. The Eclipse Wave 1 live stream is going live now at twitch.tv War Dragons Game. Everybody,
hello.
Talk to RDM and Lawson real quick. They can see your chats. RDM has something very important to share with all of you, and so does Lawson, so maybe they'll share their secrets if you ask them nicely.
I'm still not telling anyone what team I'm on.
Oh, come on. I almost got you. I think I almost got you. Guys, look how tan I look in this new light. It looks like I go outside. I love it. All right. I don't.
I don't think anyone can see you, can they? Or are you just talking to us?
Oh, I'm talking to you. But I was talking to everybody.
Oh, you look great.
Thank
You're gonna
you.
look
sun-kissed,
you look
right?
glowing.
I look like
I actually
yes.
spent a week in Mexico. Nobody can tell.
I wanted to say something, but I was afraid that you might take it the wrong way.
That is a tough one. Like, how do I compliment you on your appearance without it also being, you didn't look as good before.
Yeah, like before you looked like an unbaked croissant, but now.
Yeah, now you're looking great.
Now you look pretty good. Oh, I think it's sent. Okay, I think we're good. So everybody should be joining us. We're going to give everybody about 5 minutes, everybody, in chat. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see me with a new setup and a new background, and of course a new tan in about 3 minutes when we get started. Is everybody pretty excited about my tan? I don't know. That's all I really want to talk about. And I know there are people right now like, listen, Galileo, we don't come onto these streams to talk about your tan. We just want to hear about dragons. And like, I get it, okay? Tell us your beauty routine. Okay, well, my beauty routine is pretty simple. I go to sleep, which is, I think, the most important thing I do. And then 6 to 8 hours later, I wake up. That's it.
Wow.
2 steps.
Seems tough.
2 steps. I also don't have a greasy face. I don't have to worry about all those pimples, but I feel for those people who do. I'm also very short, so genetics, they give and they take. I know, Neo. You guys can see us in a second.
Can you see Galileo, or are you blind?
Can I see, or am I blind in real life?
Yeah.
Do you need glasses, I think?
I used to, but I got very expensive and painful surgery, so now I see perfectly, but at the cost of part of my soul. If you can believe it.
And even like, well, I'm short, but I have 20/20. Like, nope.
I think I'm 15/15.
Is that better or worse than 20/20?
Better. I can see through you.
Oh,
It's an X-ray.
Incredible.
Yes, it's an orange tan. I'm cosplaying as one of my favorite politicians today, so hopefully you all are ready to see.
You made it to orange tier. I'm excited
I
for you,
made it
man.
to orange tier in my body.
Yeah.
And me too, Zamarath. I also hope that we talk about things that are safe for work. What we should? What's not safe for work that we should talk
The only one
about?
who has trouble with that.
I
so.
do. It's the worst. Okay, so we're gonna get started in about 2 minutes. We got 146 people here. That's quite a bit. How many of you saw my in-game mail go out? And by my, I mean the admin, which is me. So.
The War Dragon's authority.
So just, oh, you guys can't see me. I was about to start explaining what was around me. I also have other people in the room for the first time while I'm doing streaming, and they're sitting nicely. Thank you, everybody. Yes, thank you.
Oh, we're getting raided.
Raw like a dream.
Hey, like
Okay, so I think we're gonna go ahead and get started. Is everybody ready? No,
Sure.
I got PRK Zamarath. It's the old version of LASIK, and they basically scraped the front layer of my eyeball off and allowed it to regrow. It hurt, yes. It hurt a lot. By the way, I was awake when they were scraping the front of my eyeball off, so that was intense. It's
Calm down,
weird because
move
it
on.
looks like they're just moving jelly off of your eye, but I can see better. Okay, is my audio going or is it the music? Because I did have to reset up my computer to make this happen. So hype, hype, hype like a dream. Thank you for bringing your entire crowd. Okay, we got about 200 people. I'm gonna go ahead and just go. All right, everybody ready? Let's do it. Okay, we are switching to just us. Welcome, everybody. This is PG Galileo, PG RDM, and PG Lawson coming live from our rooms. I don't know. I'm in a new room, so this will be the first time you've seen this, but you'll never see it again because hopefully I'll go back to my room. But you can see my arcade, you can see a window, and there's some roses back there because you know, romantic. Okay, let's introduce ourselves. RDM, who are you?
Hey everyone, nice to see you again. I'm RDM. I am a designer on War Dragons. I handle dragons and spell kits and tower design and all that kind of stuff. That's me.
All right, Lawson.
Hey everybody, like RDM, I am also a designer on Dragons. The two of us are responsible for all the dragons, towers, spells, event work that you guys see in the game. And I'm very looking forward to talking about these dragons with all of you.
And if you ever have any problems in the game, you're looking at the two people responsible for that. So
Literally everything,
just
yes.
letting you know. I don't think we're showing. Are we not showing? Can you guys not see us? Oh. Uh-oh.
I have the stream pulled up and I cannot see you. So.
There we go.
are.
It just took a little bit. Okay. All right. So, wow, that was weird. I wonder why that took so long. There was some dropped frames. I'm getting some things. Okay, well, that is not super exciting for me to see because I think that was my lag maybe. But again, if this keeps happening, we'll have to shut the stream down if the internet speed can't keep up. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have here? I'm going to close this. Okay, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let's do this. Now we're gonna go through that very dangerous phase of me trying to switch screens. All right, here we go. Do you see the Eclipse logo? Yes. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So, Eclipse, that's what we're doing. This is the sort of idea for this season was cosmic. We spent some time on Earth. We spent some time in like a sun-scorched land. We spent some time in like other dry places, like a region based on Mexico, obviously. So now we've left the terrestrial world and we're in space. And so, obviously, many of you have seen now our dragons are space-based, and you'll see that our riders are space-based. And the first rider is my favorite rider that I think I've ever seen, which I'm pretty excited to show her off. Her name is Venus. She'll be at the end of the presentation. But let's go ahead and get to our first dragons. Actually, we're going to look at the season first. Let's do that. Okay, here we go. Boom. All right, so week one, what you're seeing, we've got Icarus and Quazar. There are mythic dragons for the season. They're going to take 20 keys. That's a little bump up from last season, which was 18 keys. We have Tarak, who's our discount dragon, 50% off for the first 2 weeks. Zelno, also here, and Venus, who is our first rider. And of course, we get the base boost discount. And we'll have the Soldan Sigil Redemption branch for the first 2 weeks of the season. Just like we had last season, the structure will be much the same. All right, and of course, we've got these new Eldritch Evolution Stones that accompany the dragons. So, yeah, that's week one. By the way, just in case you were wondering, we will take questions and answers at the end of the stream. So keep them safe and tucked into your little question belts until we get to them. And we also asked for some questions on the forums before the stream as well, as somebody recommended, so we looked more professional and put together. Great recommendation. So we'll be answering those as well. All right, next we have week 3. This is still in the first wave. You'll see that we got new tower levels, 113, 115 on week 3, and we get a resurrection dragon with a 15% resource boost, not a discount, and that will go on for 3 weeks. And that resurrection dragon is Leos. He was the second place runner-up in our survey that we ran at the beginning of Soul Dance season. So Leos will be making a comeback with his beautiful, beautiful mane. The lion dragon is coming back. And then week 6, which will be the beginning of our second wave, we can kind of take a look ahead. You can see some of the boosts drop off, and we see the discounts drop off, but we get Wave 2 Rider 20% boost, Wave 2 Dragon 20% boost. Nothing really surprising there, I think. Pretty straightforward season. The costs have gone up a little bit, as I think you can see. I don't remember what the last cost was. Maybe it was 36,000 per dragon. Anyways, they've gone up a little bit, and I think that's all that we've got. So that is the season. I'll go through it one more time for those of you joining us. First week, third week, 6th week. That's when we get into our second wave. You'll notice that there is a drop-off of an Electrum Tower branch. We will be... I don't know if we plan to introduce one of those in the first 2 waves, but once I find out, I will let you know, but no promises. Okay, let's get to our dragons. All right, so first we have our discount dragon. That's Talariac. Now let's look at this dragon for a second. What do we think? Oh, that's right.
So before we get all started into this, Galileo, can we have a reference for RDM and I, because the stream is on a 3-minute delay, so we cannot look at the stream and see what you're talking about.
It's a 3-minute delay?
That's what chat was saying, and it feels pretty, delayed.
Okay, yeah, so I don't know how to fix the delay midstream, but right now we're looking at Talariac's art screen.
Cool.
Okay. All right. I think that... I think everybody can see us now. Sorry, everybody. The stream will be a little strange today because of different setup. So we're looking at Talariac's art screen. Talariac is our discount dragon. What else do we have to say? Look at him. He's got armor. He's shiny. He kind of looks like Archangel from X-Men. All right. So who designed Talariac?
I did. RDM.
RDM, tell us when you saw this, his art, or its art, what did you think?
My first impression from this guy is a really strong kind of justice-y vibe. Like, he's armored, he looks kind of royal. So we wanted to go with a spell kit that kind of pushed that like royal and icy sense, because there's a lot of ice in the background. He's also, an ice dragon. So his design kind of focuses on the fact that he is like a celestial bringer of justice. He's got a strong sense of justice. He's got really cool spells that are all show off how glorious and shiny he is, and are a little frosty.
Okay. Now, Lucas, did you look at what we've seen here? Anyway, Lawson, what did we think of the dragon? Did you have any input in the design?
I am happy to say that RDM definitely took the reins on this one. I was like consultant at best, and I was really happy with how all these dragons turned out. When we get to, I was actually flying all of these dragons a lot earlier in this week to like get to know them, do some of our marketing work, and like record some gameplay. So I will have more thoughts when we get to the spells, but in general, I think our art team like killed it with all these dragons in terms of looking at this thing, being really inspired by its visual design, coming up with the spell kit. Like, okay, this dragon looks like it does this, and then that translation from like art to functionality was very fluid, and that is always like really great to work on. Like when you're a designer, like you're inspired and you're not trying to like try and put different pieces together. You can like, it's just like very natural. And I think for pretty much everything, despite like us having never gone to space before,
speak for yourself. I have been to space.
Despite the World of War dragons never going to space before, these space dragons came together very well.
I think so too. As a matter of fact, I thought I had seen my favorite dragon with Soul Dance, which was Marav, still one of my all-time favorite designs. However, I think Quazar is probably my new favorite dragon, and we'll run into Quazar a little bit later. What?
Look, one season goes by, your favorite's already getting replayed.
Well, okay. Well, I haven't been here that long, so I'm still like growing and learning if I like broccoli or if I like cauliflower, or if I just want to eat, poop or whatever. Well, I don't know if I should have said poop. Anyway, look, Sunscorch. None of those dragons were my favorite looking, but I do think that Krellos is still my favorite dragon to fly because it's easy, and I'm a little lazy, you guys. I don't know if you know this. All right, so I like Shiny Boy here. Shiny Boy is my favorite dragon. He's going to be not my favorite dragon, but he's got a nice little look to him. He's going to be our discount dragon. He kind of looks like a super fancy candy dish that you might find in your grandparents' house. So that's Shiny Boy. Let's go ahead and dig into Shiny Boy a little bit. Our faces are going to disappear for a second. That's fine. We're going to go, oh, that's right. Not only do we get Shiny Boy, but we get Starseer, who is a beautiful portrait. I think I'm going to have to steal Starseer myself. Obviously, as we said, legendary, Tarak's a legendary, 50% off first 2 weeks of the season. He is an ice sorcerer. Yep, that's what that is. I might get them mixed up sometimes. That's Tarak. We're going to keep moving along, and then we're going to look at Tarak's spell kit. Let us know what you think of Starseer in chat. Okay, great. Now we're looking at Tarak's spell screen. So why don't you go ahead and take us through the sort of design intent here, RDM, and tell us how people should be flying and thinking about this dragon.
Cool. So the first thing that influenced Talariak's design is that we now have the auto battle feature in game. So sorcerers are a lot less work to fly. You don't have to slide your finger all over the screen all the time and wait for your shots to go. They auto target. So to play off that, the main goal here was to see how successful we can now make a sorcerer that has a lot of its power packed into its breath attack, something that before would be really tough to do or pretty counterintuitive with the way that the breath attacks fire for a sorcerer dragon. Now, you can kind of set it and forget it, and then you just press the button, and then your breath attacks become super great. So that's the main focus around what we're trying to hit out here with Talariak. But let me go over the spells for you. Here, first we have Cold Snap. This is a spell that you've probably seen before. It's just an AoE that does damage to all the towers in the area, freezes them for 5 seconds, which is pretty long for one rage. And that's going to help you with those long-range crystal howitzers or something like that in the back that you want to freeze so that you can focus on the closer stuff. The main signature spell here is Celestial Justice. The spell looks awesome. This is the spell that turns your breath attack into a super breath attack. It lasts for 4 seconds. The runes that you will be seeing on the blog post will increase that duration. It boosts his breath attack to be really strong, and it freezes. Everything that gets hit gets frozen for 1 second. So you can kind of just tap that bad boy on while you're cruising with your auto battle and start blasting for big damage and CCing all those towers in the radius. Supernova shouldn't be a spell that is too unfamiliar to anybody. It's a defensive spell. It restores his rage, restores a little bit of health, gives him a little bit of a shield in case you see a super shot coming your way that you want to protect yourself against. And then Icy Fracture is the fracture spell that you've probably seen in the past. It is a spell that kind of instant kills a tower in the area, but this version will also restore 1 rage. Has kind of a long cooldown, but you can use it to help you along with Cold Snap for those long-range, dangerous towers, or maybe a protective tower like a Storm Tower or an Earth Flak that you want to get rid of quickly before it puts its shields up. Okay,
so that's Talariak. Now let's talk about a strong breath attack. When you all have been on your romantic endeavors, has anybody accused you of having a strong breath attack? Lawson, you go first, because I feel like that has been a problem for you. I don't think he can hear me. There is no reaction. Lawson, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just ignore me. That's probably the right way to go. He's like, yeah, I heard. I'm not going to respond. Okay, Lawson doesn't have a strong breath attack. RDM, what would you do to combat a strong breath attack?
Strong breath attack is a pretty hard foe to take down because you got to have somebody who's honest enough to tell you.
That's right.
When you're attacking them, sometimes you're unleashing your breath attack on auto battle right in front of your loved one's face, and you have no idea that you're doing it to them. And sometimes they care about you so much that they don't want to be like, "Whoa, back up there, buddy. You're gonna need to take care of that.
So
you're gonna need
they take
something
the
icy." Yeah, yeah. Sometimes they'll just take the hit, so you never know. So you always want to have good dental hygiene.
Well, I'm glad we talked about that for
Yeah.
everybody. If you're in chat, tell us what you do when you have a strong breath attack. And again, the name of this dragon is Talariak. That is the discount dragon, an ice sorcerer. Let's move on to Zelnoth. Zelnoth is pretty dope. It is an H.R. Geiger inspired dragon. H.R. Geiger, for those of you who don't know, a Swedish artist is from over there. A Swedish artist who designed Alien and a lot of other really cool things. Also designed one of the first album covers for the Dead Kennedys. I don't know if he did it for them, but they took their art. That's okay. If you don't like punk, that's not a big deal for you. Okay, so here we go. This is Zelnoth, and let's learn a little bit more about I don't know what we would call him. Alien Boy? I don't know. I think he might be greasy. I think he's greasy looking. I'd call him Greasy Boy or Scaly Boy. All right, let's move in. You can see Red Giant is Zelnoth's branch portrait. Red Giant's pretty cool. He looks like a big Scottish guy. I like it. Just like on fire, but he's on fire. Like a Scottish guy who caught fire and is now a warrior. Okay. We do prep ourselves for the live stream shadows. Thank you. This is the Dark Hunter. Zelnoth is the other legendary for the first wave. Okay, so everybody, we're looking now at the spell screen for Zelnoth. So RDM, take it away.
We're having some stream trouble.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about it. Let's see what I can...
Just a lot of buffering and some audio cuts.
Yeah.
Just fine on chat.
Okay.
Maybe if I talk really slowly, they'll be able to infer my whole sentence by the time the buffering catches up. All right, so Zelnoth's theme, I'll try talking a little slower this time, is that he's kind of a demon among the stars. He's going out and he's destroying planets, draining the life from them, using them to fuel himself. So he's pretty sinister and dark. And so we wanted to touch on that a little bit with his spell kit here. Now his spell kit might be a little confusing at first because you see 5 spells in front of you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to explain that first. And that is that if you see his second spell there, Star Eater, is a passive. And it says, gain the empty spell from the last tower your dragon destroyed. That works very similar to spells like Steel Essence, where the spell slot is empty and it's a yellow passive icon. And then once you destroy a tower, it fills with a spell that's one-time use depending on the tower you destroyed. In Zelnoth's case, that spell will always be the Empty Void. No matter what tower you destroy, he will always gain one-time use the Empty Void as the spell from destroying a tower. But it's not there unless you destroy a tower first. So that's why you see 5 spells here on the list, because it is like a Steel Essence-esque passive that turns into the Empty Void whenever he kills something. So his other passive, which is a full-time passive, is Void Touch. That is a breath attack debuff on towers that he shoots with his breath. I believe the dragon, was it Raksha or something like that from Lotus Bloom, had a similar passive on its breath attacks. So if you're familiar with that, you should know what that does. His signature spell is, of course, the Empty Void. This is a cloak spell that allows him to continue to attack and use spells while he's cloaked. And then at the end, it has a big AoE explosion effect that's very powerful. That's where mostly all of his strength is. You're going to want to weaken towers with your breath attack. You can do it while you're in the Empty Void so that when you explode afterwards, the Void Touch plus the Empty Void damage ends up being very powerful. Also, you can cast your Mark, Slayer's Mark, while you are in the Empty Void as well, so you can kind of set yourself up to get some of those resources back once your Empty Void explodes at the end. And then you have Siphon Strike, which is a pretty great way to guarantee yourself at least one cast of the Empty Void when you start, or when you turn a corner. You use it on the Storm Tower, the Earth Flak, and then instantly destroy it, get yourself that Star Eater Empty Void cast, and then from there you just go on a roll. Dragon is super fun to play, in my opinion. I'm really excited for you guys to get your hands on it. Let me know what you think about the Star Eater to Empty Void kind of functionality and how that works out for you.
Gonna definitely double down on this dragon is hella fun camp.
Oh, we are dropping the word hella. So just in case nobody knows, hella is a vocabulary word that is specific to Northern California, USA. It means a lot of, or very, depending on its context. That's some streetwise information for you out there. For those of you who want to go out and speak to people out on the streets, you can say hella and people will understand what you're talking about.
They'll just get you weird.
Yeah, when I lived in the middle of the country, when the song "Hella Good" came out, we all thought it was a joke, and then I moved out to California, and people were saying it, and I just laughed for like 4 months straight. There is going to be a line with a lot of timers in DA Win. Don't worry about it. We'll be talking about some of our lines in a little bit. Also, we will have an AMA after this, so if you have any questions on the forums as well, you can leave them there, and we'll be talking more about lines. So please don't assume stuff yet, because we've still got a lot of streams to go forth. And again, sorry for all of those with the bad stream. I think the internet is not as fast as I need it to be, so that's good news for me to know. Then next, we're going to go to... All right. This is our first mythic. This is Icarus. Icarus is based off the Icarus solar sail, and also the god from mythology. Icarus was the son of Daedalus, flew too close to the sun, his wings melted, and I kind of forgot what happened after that, but I assume it was something horrific. Because nobody flies too close to the sun and gets away with it. All right, so I love Icarus. I think it's one of, not only does its art look cool, but I think its flying animation is actually one of the smoothest in the game. It looks sort of, if you haven't seen it on the forums, I dropped a GIF of it in the stream thread. You can see how it moves. It's sort of like a sea slug, I don't know, or a manta ray. That's what I'm thinking. So RDM, Lawson, we're looking at Icarus's art. You saw Icarus. What did you think when you were designing the dragon?
Icarus. This guy seems pretty peaceful, if you ask me. Like he's kind of like a little sail. He's chilling in space. He's smiling with his big old cute smile. He doesn't look like the kind of dragon that's out there to get some destruction going, like Zelno, for example. So that's the first impression that he gave me for sure. Was, we're gonna do something a little more hands off, a little more like disable-y, something a little more peaceful, I guess, as far as War Dragon goes, where you're trying to destroy each other.
So this will be interesting for like auto battle, won't it? Because I believe Icarus has 2 passives, isn't that correct?
Well, Icarus is an invoker, so auto battle doesn't function with him.
There we go. I'm glad you guys are here.
Unfortunately, it's not something I guess you really have to worry about, no matter how many passives he has. But the 2 passives was Zelno, I'm pretty sure.
Zelno, did I miss it? Sorry, I was trying to fix the stream.
Yeah.
Okay, then we're going to go ahead and move to Icarus's spell kit. Actually, Lawson, what do you think about this? You saw Icarus. You and RDM were working together on a spell kit.
I just thought he looked like a space carpet. So
space carpet, jeez. All right, okay, a little space carpet.
Not as a diss. They're a very interesting looking dragon. This is one of the dragons that are like, their looks doesn't, like, what does a space carpet do? And I was like, shrug, I have no idea what a space carpet does. So you gotta try and figure it out, which is a very fun task. But definitely, as far as like a lot of the other space dragons, like you have your like evil space alien HR Geiger monster. You have a icy regal dragon, and then second mythic also creates itself pretty much. This one was kind of a lot more abstract, and that was fun, and I think it turned out really well. But this one's definitely much more mechanical in that we had an idea for what we wanted the dragon to do, rather than this dragon looks like an ice dragon, so it should freeze stuff.
Okay. Big fan. Everybody in the chat, it's getting a little toxic right now. hate to do this in the middle of the stream, but if we can't chill it out, then I will be blocking people. If you can't handle what's going on, then leave. And I don't say that to be rude, but you're ruining the experience for other people, and it's super not cool. So just chill out. Thank you. And anyways, we're going to move on to Icarus' spell kit. Thank you, everybody who is having a good time in there. Yes, again, for those of you who don't know, we're not working in an office. We're working out of our individual homes. So yes, we're not working with, office stuff, which would be a lot better. Okay, so here we go. We're going to move on to Icarus' spell kit. All right, so obviously Icarus is a mythic, is a wind invoker, and we're looking at a spell kit page now. So RDM, take it away.
Awesome. So, as an invoker, every fourth attack is going to be a cool little spell cast instead of a normal breath attack. And for Icarus here, that is Invoke Stardust, which has got an effect very similar to Desiccating Sand, if you're familiar with that. It will disable all towers that it hits, and that does things like turning off shield bubbles from mage towers as well. And that effect is permanent until the tower is attacked again. So this dragon is incredible for setting up. You can just disable a bunch of things and then leave it for your follow-up dragon to take care of if you need to. One of the main, we'll say, signature moves for Icarus here is Gravity Warp. This spell kind of has two really cool, really interesting ways it can be used. The main is that it refills your ammo, so you can fire off that sand, that stardust that disables all the towers, and then instantly reload and fire another one off to kind of cover the whole island in stardust and keep them all from attacking you. But the second thing it does is it has a very close range, incredibly powerful AoE damage. So a lot of the times when you're flying these kinds of setup dragons, you'll run into a scenario where the ones that you sanded, you kind of leave as you focus on the other towers further in the back. And so that your dragon will slowly approach the sanded ones, and then at the last second, players will fire at the ones right on the edge of their screen. The cool thing about Gravity Warp here is that its range is very close. So those towers that are right up under you that you've disabled, when you activate Gravity Warp, it'll blow them up. So you can also use it as kind of a nuke on the towers at the very edge, as well as a tower.
Love a good nuke.
Yeah. And then for defense, you've got Starry Night. It's just gives you a little bit of health, defends you against things like Rage Drain, Super Shots, stuff like that. And then you have Galvanic Overload, which is your one-shot kill spell for dealing with things like Storm Towers on the turn, and also gives you a little bit of rage at the cost of health. So you're going to want to be careful with how you balance Starry Night with Galvanic Overload. It doesn't have a cooldown, so you can go crazy shooting these off all over the place, but you're going to get your health really, really low, and you're probably going to have more rage than you need. So you want to be careful with how you use those in addition to Starry Night to make sure you're keeping your health up good, and you're disabling everything to set up for your friends.
All right.
That's him. Yeah.
Lawson, thoughts? You flow, Icarus. You flow, Icarus. That's the past tense of fly. You flew.
So, in all of my flying, I just completely missed on the effect that Gravity Warp blows up the towers that you're sitting directly on top of, and that would have been
that would have been good to know. Lawson's like, Icarus is the worst. I think I couldn't do anything. There was a spell that was useless.
Yeah.
I did really enjoy flying them. There's a lot of decision making with the dragon, like having two colored spells that are both really good, like in trying to figure out where does your first disable from Stardust go. Do you use it to activate your blue spell, which is like your healing and defense, or do you use it to activate your red spell? You can probably combo it to both. What I was doing on islands that have both red and blue mages is you can use Stardust on the red mage to get super Galvanic Overload, and then use the red one shot to then pop the blue, and then use Starry Night, which I found very successful. But like the instant you start running up on double up mage towers, like an island has two reds or two blues or a combination, things start to get interesting. There's definitely a dragon where you need to look at the map before you attack and figure out like you need to know what you're doing before you actually hit the island, and kind of have your plan in your head, and then you execute it very methodically while you're flying, which is very refreshing. A lot of dragons are kind of like more like flying by the seat of your pants, or they just blow everything up. And this one is like you need to approach battle very differently, which anytime a dragon provides like a unique or a different experience, I enjoy it very much.
So, Invokers are widely known as a sort of it's the newest class, right? So it's also like people don't really get Invokers yet. Some older players don't like them. Some newer players are kind of confused by them, and I think the sort of the opinion trickles down, right? Like if a new player asks an older player, what should I be doing? And people are like, don't do Invokers. Then Invokers will never be picked up. That's how new players sound, by the way. Don't do them. What are we trying here? So what do you think? I want both of you to make a 1-minute passionate pitch for Invokers. And you're going to split that minute up into 10-second rounds. And so you're each going to have 10 seconds over 6 rounds. No, seriously. Why Invokers? What are they good for? RDM, go.
Yeah, I think Invokers provide really fresh gameplay that you don't really get to have with other classes. I think it's super interesting to try to time your 4th shot and to use these reload abilities to make the most of them. Like Lawson said, the planning that goes into a dragon like this is more intense than if you were to fly something that's a more simpler class to play, where you can kind of deal with threats as they show up. You have to plan a little bit ahead, especially when you're using sand, but that makes this dragon also incredibly powerful. You can set it up and you can have somebody who's much weaker than you follow you up and find success because of all the good planning that went into how you flew.
All right, so Lawson RDM threw down the gauntlet because he said somebody much weaker than him following him up, and you're the one following RDM. Do you think that was a slap in the face? War Dragons community loves this term, slap in the face. Was that a slap in the face? I'm not trying to start a fight, but RDM did steal my girlfriend, so.
Can't let it go, man.
I will never let it go. She's gone. I haven't even seen her in a while. What have you done with her? All right, Lawson. Give us the pitch for Invokers. Let's do it.
So when we were designing the original Invoker, we were like looking at what dragons were popular in the game, and everyone. I don't want to say everyone likes hunters, but hunters are really, really strong, and it's because they can do lots of damage very quickly, which is very strong against defenders and the players who will use the hammer consumable to heal their towers. Like if you're just trying to kill things like a warrior flamethrower, you just can't out damage hammers. Invoker's breath attack is like the highest instance of damage you can deliver in a short amount of time outside of a like one-shot spell like Umbral Spike. So you can do the most damage in the shortest amount of time with an Invoker with some cool spell at the end that either provides more damage or AoE damage or freezing or healing or you name it. There's an Invoker that is some sort of enhanced breath attack that does something really powerful. Coupled with the fact that we can make them feel more like hunters, giving them ammo reloads. You can attack with your super strong breath attack multiple times very quickly, or using a lot of spells to kind of be a more deliberate burst towers but not kill the whole screen. So in that, they kind of feel more fair. A lot of hunters, when they're good, are like really, really good in kind of a disgusting way. And outside of Namaka, which was the first attempt and it may have been a bit too strong, I don't think any of the Invokers have been disgusting, but none of them have been bad either. So they're like quite a reliable, well-balanced class where if you can learn how to play them and get used to the notably very different play pattern, Invokers, a lot of what you know about Hunters and Sorcerers, like parts of it come over and parts of it don't. But so it does require a lot of relearning, which may excite some players or may turn people off. Some players may be like, well, I know how to fly. This is my favorite class. I don't want to learn how to fly a new class. So Invokers might be intimidating, but for players who like something new, they're a very consistent dragon class to pursue. And particularly if someone's like, I don't know if I'd like one, consider just picking up a legendary Invoker. And we usually have one every season. Or if you're in the later game, one every tier. And it doesn't require a ton of sigils. Maybe you just fly it in events like Assault, where you don't even need to pursue its entire branch. You can keep it at a lower tier, fly it there, get used to the class, and eventually consider adding one to your main roster.
This is so bizarre, by the way. In case you haven't realized it yet, chat, I'll do something on stream, and then you guys don't pick it up for maybe 5 minutes. So it's funny reading. It's like going back in time reading chat. I'm like, oh, that happened 5 minutes ago. Like somebody just said, that's a funny cartoon voice. I haven't done that in a long time. Feisty Cardinal asked, what does RDM stand for? I think we answered that before as Red Mage. But I think we came up with it Red Magic, maybe. But also somebody in the chat came up with something vulgar, so let's not name RDM right now. Unless you want to, tell us what RDM means in the chat. Be clean or I'll ban you. I'm just kidding, I probably won't ban you, unless you say something horrific. But RDM reads those, and he has a little book that he keeps, and he hearts his favorite names. So that's really nice. Okay, so Invokers, we got the rundown on Invokers from the designers, and I believe one of our wonderful Creators Faction members created an Invokers tips video, which I can share after the stream. All right, let's go ahead and move on. I think we've got one more dragon left, and I think it's my favorite. I just stopped talking. Yeah.
The suspense is killing me.
The suspense is killing me. I'm trying to find the screen. It is a Quazar. He's the black hole dragon. I've seen some very unflattering nicknames for him in War Dragons Addicts, the Facebook group. Shout out War Dragons Addicts. I'm reading. Quazar is great. I think he's got the coolest design. I know a lot of people are like, well, what's going on here? Does he have a Beach by Dre on his head? What's going on? I think it was such a funny comment, whoever said that. Yeah, Quasar's awesome. He's put together. He's made of black holes. I think the art is fantastic. It's the art on my computer. And also, Quasar's flying the rigged dragon from the game is awesome looking. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it is incredible. Okay, so RDM Lawson, let's hear your thoughts on Quasar's art. Quasarts.
Yeah, this art is just so incredible. Like, if something's gonna move you, if something's gonna inspire you to make something, it's gonna be this art. If this doesn't do it for you, then I don't know. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I think Quasar is funny because I think there's been Quasar's art has drawn out some haters, and I'm like, why do you hate beauty? Why do you hate beauty? Go look at Zilch. Just go look at Zilch if you don't like Quasar.
I wonder. I'd like to see what those negative things about Quasar might be. Maybe it's like doubt that we could possibly translate this into 3D because it looks so amazing in 2D. I could see that. Like, it couldn't possibly look this good in game, could it? It does. Spoiler. But yeah, this dragon looks so good. It's incredible art.
A lovely term called the rule of cool. And if it appeals to just what your average person would say, like, okay, that looks pretty cool, then it's going to probably be pretty cool. And definitely agree, like, looking at the dragon, flying the dragon, like, oh man, looks great. Plays strong, to say the least. But, oh man, we've had two really good Space Warriors, and I'm going to start a war in the chat by mentioning Gig in a favorable way, but look pretty cool. If the fundamental design of a dragon that didn't need rage was not problematic, it probably would have played pretty well too. But consistent with like the awesome Space Warriors, which I really appreciate. The warrior aesthetic needs some love.
I think so too.
And if this doesn't deliver, then nothing will.
Okay, so we got the Mythic Fire Warrior Quazar. He's made of black holes. He looks like he could be like do you guys remember Erector sets? I think that might be a little old school. Looks like Erector sets. It was a toy from back in the day. I'm 75 years old.
Legos, but they had like cogs and stuff on them, right?
Yeah, I think if you ever saw the movie Sandlot, Erector set is what they used to throw the baseball. So it's like real architecture kind of thing. All right, here's Mythic. Quasar's a Mythic Fire Warrior, as we said, and now we're on his or hers Quasar. We're on the spell kit. So RDM, take us away. Tell us about Quasar's spell kit.
Cool. Quasar is powerful. First, we have his or her passive breath attack, which is Nebula Beam. So the longer that you sustain the breath attack on a building, you can't just shoot the ground. It ramps up and gets more and more and more powerful. This ramp up happens pretty quickly. You'll even notice that the VFX for the breath change with each stage, which is beautiful. Art killed it on the VFX for this dragon's breath attack. And then, so as you are, burning it up, you're getting better and better at burning it up at the same time. To support your super cool breath attack, you also have Solar Flare. Now this is just a quick little freeze on all the towers in the area. It does pretty good damage. It's a little expensive, but it has no cooldown, so if you've got Rage to Burn, you can kind of just get a little blast out there, a little freeze, CC things for a little while, to keep you safe. Next, we have the signature move, I would say, of Quazar here, and that is Black Hole. This is a very strong AoE that has an incredibly long cooldown of 10 seconds. So you're probably familiar with this type of spell. You've seen it before. For some reason, can't think of any examples right now, though. But it's just a big AoE that comes out of the dragon, blows everything up, does tons and tons of damage, and then you probably won't see it again for a good long while because it's got a 10-second cooldown. Kind of expensive, very powerful, kind of the raw destructive power that you would expect from a dragon that's built out of black holes. And then finally, a little more on the defensive side, although there is a little bit of defense in Black Hole. We have Event Horizon, which is an invincible shield that will instantly give you some rage when you cast it. The second you tap that button, you get your rage. And then at the end of the shield, if it lasts that long, it'll mark all nearby towers with bright little marks that when you destroy them, you get some of your health back. So with this dragon, you're kind of just on a constant, raw, powerful onslaught. Defenses are good. You have two options here. They're pretty short, so you have to time them well. But basically, you want to blow stuff up and burn it down with your beam, freeze it with solar flare before it blows you up. That's it.
Okay, Quasar's pretty good. Now, you both flew Quazar. I said flew this time. By the way, they're just dropping RDM acronym names now, so that's how far back the chat goes. So RDM, check out those acronyms, see if you like them. All right, so you both flew Quazar. What did we think?
Yeah.
Lawson, go for it.
Black Hole does a lot of damage, was my first observation. In all seriousness, the dragon has a lot of different defensive tools, but they all have a long cooldown. So you need to be really careful, kind of making sure the abilities don't overlap, and you're always protected by something. But if you get hit by a Ice Flak Super Shot, or Event Horizon is broken from a Crystal Howitzer Super Shot, then the dragon is going to be spending a fair amount of time just sitting there getting shot. So carefully timing your abilities was the most important thing. The dragon deals a ton of damage between the ramping breath attack, which is strong enough to cut through hammer spam, and then also a lot of burst damage from Black Hole, and even if you need even more burst damage, you can use Solar Flare. So there is a lot of... The dragon was very reactive. You're trying to use your abilities based on what's happening in the moment, rather than the dragon we just talked about, which really benefits from planning. This dragon benefits from quick reaction time and paying attention in the battle. So the you kind of have one dragon for each type of play style, which I thought was pretty neat. He's very strong. So that's my recurring note is damn, this dragon's pretty good. So I'm not sure which one I want to get, honestly.
Okay, so if we're RDM, if you were to challenge the War Dragons community, the best flyers out there, which of the dragons do you think is the hardest to fly, but also the most rewarding? Which is the dragon that people who want a challenge, who don't just want to coast like I do with Krellos, if you want to challenge if you were like, all right, this new season, the best flyers in the game, and by best I mean the most skilled, which dragon should they be going for?
That's tough. I feel like depending on what skill level your defenders are at, both of these dragons can be pretty difficult. I think Quazar at a lower skill level is easier to succeed, especially if your opponents are worse at defending, because he's very offensively powerful, and then he leaves himself open with like a long period of weakness where he can be shot down. Especially if someone just kind of goes in and hits all the buttons, and then they do a big boom, and then they're kind of a sitting duck if they don't plan it properly. But if your defenders aren't capable of taking advantage of that, you'll find a lot of success. If they are capable, he gets pretty hard. Whereas Icarus is more, you always got to do the planning. So there's always going to be a high level of skill involved, regardless of your opponent. You have to play well to succeed. So I would say Icarus probably requires slightly more skill to fly successfully at all levels of play, depending on wherever you are and whatever level of skill your opponents might be at if they're defending against you. So he would be the one that I would look forward to seeing, the more skilled players' VODs of attacks on super high level bases with multiple defenders. I think those will be super, super exciting coming out of Icarus.
Okay, Icarus it is. That's it. That's it. If you think you are an excellent dragon flyer, Dragon Lord, right? That's what we call him.
Yeah, Dragon
Lord. Dragon Flyer doesn't sound as cool. Or Dragon Lordette. I think that's how they are called. No, if you think you're a good Dragon Flyer, Dragon Lord, Icarus is. Did we say Icarus, or how are we saying this?
Good question. I've been calling him Icarus, but Icarus is with like the U sound is the name of the Greek god. I believe it's Greek. I don't know. Don't kill me.
Somebody fact check RDM.
The name of this dragon.
Yeah.
Who did name the dragon?
That would be PG, Lacrima, and us.
Yeah. It's usually a joint effort. I don't want to pin it on him. If you hate the name, you can blame me. But
oh, I love blaming people when you're not around. I think if you don't like the name, Lacrimae is it. If you love it, it's RDM.
Yeah, that's true. Do it that way.
And Lawson. And me. Why not? Throw me in there. Yeah, that's right.
Definitely not you, Galileo.
Okay, well, I was there. Actually, was not there. Nobody asked me anything. I get it. I was dealing with a move. My girlfriend being gone. Did you guys hear that? I said that out loud? All right, let's move on. So we're near the end of the stream, by the way, so we're going to try to wrap these last couple slides up so that we can answer some of the questions that we got in the forums. Like somebody suggested, yes, we got some questions ahead of time and researched the answers. By the way, just as a reminder, anything in this stream can change at random, at will, without warning. That's my caveat. We hope that won't happen, by the way, but things do change, and I'll try to keep everybody apprised when that happens, but sometimes it happens quickly. Okay, that's somebody on Twitch. You can make clips of video. Go ahead and clip that out, and then I'll just attach it to every stream we do. So all right, so here we are. We're moving. Some people are like, "That's not funny, Galileo. We don't like when you change things." I totally get it. You all were, I know, but I'm trying to keep it light and airy here. We're trying not to change things on you. Okay, this is my favorite writer in the game. It's Venus. All right, Venus's art. So I don't know anybody in the community or anybody in the stream really reads comic books, but I have one of my favorite comic book artists is named J.H. Williams III, and this is giving me vibes. Venus is awesome. All right, RDM, Lawson, What do you think of Venus?
I do not disagree with anything you just said.
Literally, wow. Okay. We're going to have a good dinner tonight. We didn't have to get in a fight in a stream. Lawson and I are having dinner tonight. RDM, you're invited as well. If you can bring the mac and cheese.
I'll bring your axe.
Oh! No! Fire warrior. A strong breath attack from RDM. Oh, clip that. No! Make a gif of me dying inside. That was perfect. I loved that. Like, you can kind of see you in the background, too. Look at this, I'm tickling your chin. Anyways, thank you for bringing my ex to the dinner. This is Venus. Venus looks awesome. Venus is an Okay, we have to be real careful. Everybody, let's consort in the middle of our screens real quick.
Yeah.
Come on, heads in the middle. Heads in the middle of the screen. Is Venus an offensive rider?
That's correct.
Venus is an offensive rider. I'm saying it.
Yeah.
RDM's saying it. Lawson's not saying anything, which is probably smart. So we don't want to have another Amalia situation. Yes, Venus is an offensive rider. We're going to check out Venus's sort of, not total stats, but we're going to see what her stats affect. Okay, her skills affect. Okay, Venus' skills will affect increased dragon HP, increased warrior and invoker HP. So Venus only good for a couple of dragons. Increased dragon attack and increased rage regen. Oh, that's sweet, sweet rage regen. We love it. We miss it. And we will release Venus's craftable rider shards. I could not find them on their sheet, but I will make sure they're available in the blog post, of course, which will come out next week. And I'll post it in the forums afterwards. And then I think that's it. I think we're done with the presentation. So let's go ahead and switch back to just talking.
Gonna throw out the obligatory chat. If you have questions, you should ask them now, which is going to be 3 minutes from when I'm saying this.
Oh boy.
So I will try to answer them in chat rather than via talking, because that's going to be difficult. So
yeah,
just ask them, and I've got chat up. I'll try to answer what I can.
So this is going to be kind of weird, chat, because normally we've got like a 15-second delay, but I think we have like a 3-minute delay right now, so this is going to be really awkward. Yep. Luckily, we did prepare some questions and answers ahead of time, so I'm just going to read those off. They came from the Eclipse live stream thread. So yeah, Lawson and RDM will be helming the chat, and I'll just be reading some questions and answers out to you. These answers came from somebody who's not in the room today. So just as a reminder to everybody thinking about asking questions, the people in this room are community, which is me, like, so what's happening in the community, dragon designers and tower designers. So your questions are mostly going to be aimed at what's the best dragon I can fly? What did you think of when you're designing the tower? What do you think of the balance of the game right now? Those kinds of things. And then economy and branch creation. We can answer those questions later in the forum, because that is a different designer, a couple different designers. And live events, also a different designer. So just trying to keep in mind what people ask questions about. So unfortunately, we can't get everybody on the stream at the same time. So yeah, so keep those questions. You can ask them. I just don't know if I'll have an answer. But remember to post them in the live stream thread afterwards. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to open up the questions that we got from the forums, and I'll try to answer those while we're talking. And RDM and Lawson will be answering chat. Okay, so the first question we got from the forum is, will there be an exotic rune this season or mystery branch? So the answer is, yeah, there will be limited time branches this year. However, the specific contents are not ready to be shared. I think you saw, maybe I took it off, but I believe in week 3, don't quote me here, this is a guess, I think in week 3 we had a branch coming up with an exotic or mythic rune. But I'm not sure what it is yet. So as our season designer says, that's not ready to be shared. But yes, there will be limited time branches this year. So prepare for those, and we'll tell you about those when they're coming up if we can. Okay, so somebody asked, will the Winter Festive Dragon have the same 4x Draconic chests at the end of its line like Hueso, or was it just a one-time thing for Soul Dance? The answer is yes. We will have the Winter Festive, which is super cool, by the way. Probably my favorite. I don't want to call it. It's one of my favorite dragons because it's really cool, and it's got like a nostalgic throwback for me, which you'll see in the end of the season, so it'll be a while. But yeah, so the Winter Festive will have the same 4x Draconic chest at the end of the line, so we will be repeating that. Yes, and again, these are the answers we got right now. If things change, I'll let you know as soon as I can, but these are the plans right now. Okay, somebody asks, will the Winter Festive utilize Dragon Shards the same way Hueso does? And if so, will that dilute the chest pools if there are Hueso Shards and Winter Festive Shards in the same chest? The answer is yes, the Winter Festive will use the shards in the same way. The drop rate of the Winter Festive, the Eclipse Winter Festive during the Eclipse season will be the same as the Hueso drop rate during the Soul Dance season. The Hueso drop rate will be significantly reduced. For both dragons, though, if you have sufficient shards to max the dragon, you will no longer need to pull those shards. So if you have a max Hueso and a non-max Winter Festive, the chest pulls will be equivalent to only one dragon existing. Equivalent to the Fall Draconic chest. Does that make sense to everybody? I won't know if it didn't make sense for like 3 minutes, so we'll come back. But we're also going to keep the stream a little short today because we're operating in sort of not optimal conditions. So next, will the Dracul pylon be transformable, mergeable next season? Yeah, the Dracul pylon will be mergeable beginning in week 1, so that's next week. Somebody asks, will the fall key exchange line be next season be the same, or will there be any changes made to it? Chris, the answer is the same structure will be available for the first 2 weeks, so pretty simple. Are the 5K, 6K exotic rune lines over with? Are we only going to see the 10K glyph line that does not come with the key? Is there a reason the key was not... Okay, this is a big answer. We don't have an answer for this yet, whoever asked about the exotic rune lines. Unfortunately, we'll have to get back to you as soon as we're ready to make a decision on that. This is the final question that I have, and then I'm going to move over to the chat 5 minutes ago. Is there going to be another increase in seasonal branch costs? Okay, so this is a big question for everybody in chat, and I wish I looked at this answer earlier because people were upset about it for a while. So here's the answer. So for those of you that are worried about the increase in seasonal branch costs, the follow-up to that question is, can we expect economy improvement, which many of you were asking for? Why would you increase costs without improving the economy? This is the answer for you. Okay. So the whole question, just to read it again, is there going to be another increase in seasonal branch cost? If so, can we expect an economy improvement to accompany it, given that the sigil income remains fairly static while costs increase? Here's the answer for everybody looking for that answer. Yes, seasonal branch costs will go up. We won't have a Wave 2 discount, but we will have the resource boost, 15% for 3 weeks for Leos, 20% for 2 weeks for Wave 2 and 3. The short version is the sigil income has actually increased pretty significantly. Players are increasing their levels and at higher levels have better resource income and are performing better in events. We probably will have to come back with a little more info later, but basically adjusted structure is 20 keys. The branch length has been increased slightly to 3. It looks like we might have gotten. We'll have to do some math here. So the answer says that the branch length has been increased to 37.5K, but on the slide we had 38. So let me double check that. I think that there might have been some weird mathy things happening. But the branches are also getting additional resources, including draconic chests. So again, we will have to double check. I'll post an answer as soon as we're done. If we go back to the very beginning of the presentation, it said that the branch costs were 38 and 38.5K, depending on the branch type. It looks like it actually might be 37.5 or 37K. So I'll double check again and make sure we have the right answer to that after the stream is over. And maybe I can find out right now while we're answering questions. So RDM and Lawson, why don't you go ahead and answer some of the questions you saw in chat on video?
If you guys are curious, Venus showed up a minute or two ago.
No! Oh my gosh. We're
almost there.
I will figure out an internet situation. Jeez.
I think it's less of at this point it's probably buffering plus natural delay. I think it was 3 minutes to begin with, and has gotten longer.
Oh boy. Okay, so we don't actually have answers to anything yet. Okay, everybody, I think we're actually going to have to call the stream without doing a Q&A, and I answered those questions that we got in the forum. I just think, let me figure out this one more thing. Are the new seasons...
Oh, I'm seeing questions.
Okay, go ahead and get them. Go ahead.
All right, we have, will Gravity Warp cancel Stardust Disable? That's a yes, but the area of effect is very small. So it's only meant to hit towers right underneath the dragon on the edge of your screen, and it does 40% modified HP damage, so it should blow them up. You might need to do a little bit of shooting them afterwards, but if they're Stardusted, they already took 16% damage plus 40%. It should nuke them down. Shouldn't be a big concern, but it will not disable towers if your dragon isn't right over them. So you can use it to reload without worrying about that. Cool. Let me look for some more. Oh, we killed it. No questions. That's awesome to hear.
I'm gonna assume that we killed it just so I feel good about my night. I'm talking to our season creator about the season cost now, just to get a final answer before we head off. Hopefully they are able to answer while we're still on stream. We will be ending the stream in like 3 minutes. While we're heading out, RDM Lawson, thank you for joining us. Sorry again, everybody, for the unusual lag this time. Again, I recently moved, and since I'm running all of this, I had to my internet connection and all that stuff changed. So we haven't had a chance to test it with as many viewers as we have now. So that's unfortunate. But we will hopefully get back to normal next time. Okay, so I just found out this is good news for everybody. We originally had the seasonal branch originally cost 38.5K. And 38K, but we actually lowered them to by 1,000 sigils. So it will be slightly cheaper than that first slide. So again, if you go back to the very beginning slide of the presentation, which I'll post later, and also the blog post will have the correct information, the sigil cost is 37.5 for dragons and 37 for non-dragon branches, just so we're aware. And that's before discounts and stuff are included. So yeah, hopefully that's good news. It's a little cheaper than it was before. Still more expensive than last season, but as we mentioned in the other answer, that we're increasing resources and whatnot in branches for this season. So hopefully the balance is made up. So it's not quite as impactful as I think we all thought it was at the beginning of the stream. So yeah, I think that's all we're going to be able to do for today. I'm sorry everybody for it being, actually we ran for a long time, but I'm sorry that the back and forth that we normally have is going to be a little curtailed this time. Thank you again for joining us. RDM and Lawson, do you want to sign off?
Yeah.
Go ahead, RDM.
Thanks. I was gonna go first because I see you actively answering questions in the chat, and I tried to answer mine in video that they won't see for another 10 minutes. So I'll let you keep doing your thing. It's great to see you guys again. I hope you're as excited as I am to see you play these dragons as you are to get your hands on them. I think we did some pretty interesting stuff this time around with Zelno's The Empty Void, Icarus's Dissecting Sand as an Invoker. I'm excited to see you guys play, hear what you have to say about them, get that feedback, see more on the forums. I'm always reading them. And so, yeah, glad you're hyped. Glad I could be here with you today. Have a great holiday if you are celebrating. I will probably see you for another stream before we go into the next set of holidays here in the US. So I look forward to seeing you all there.
All right, everybody. It was great seeing you all in chat. Yes, stream's a little weird. We'll figure it out. I'm actually going to stick around and try to answer people's questions once we go offline as chat trickles in. But I'm also looking forward to seeing everybody again, hopefully before we all go on winter holiday. So to those of us in the United States, please have a happy and safe holiday on this long weekend. And stay safe, everybody.
That's right, everybody. Just as a reminder, there will be pretty much nobody working from PG until Monday, and even then, as I mentioned on the forums, the holiday season people tend to take sporadic and lengthy vacations. So the next month or so will be pretty slow. Just so everybody's aware, I will be around for most of it because I don't have people that love me. So nobody to spend the holidays with, which is really horrible. Actually, I just can't go home because of COVID, so I hope all of you are being safe as well. Wear your masks. Don't make out with random people if you can help it. And don't let them do that to you, for goodness sakes. My goodness. So let's just be safe out there. I will be we'll be going back to the live stream thread after this and answering some questions. I'll be posting the deck with all of the correct numbers and some of the answers that we had to the live Q&A earlier. And I think we're probably just going to hang out for a little bit while we answer some weird laggy questions. So thanks for joining us, and enjoy Wave 1, which will be happening next week. And now I think I'm just going to listen to a little bit of music and whatnot. And I really want to see everybody say goodbye, but it's going to happen in like 5 minutes.